crypto geeks, and welcome to another video. This is an important video in relevance to the latest updates with regards to the legislation. So it's very important that you pay very close attention to this video. I'll try to be as short as I can. Before I get too deep into it, if you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Make sure your notifications are on for the latest update, and please make sure you click that like button. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. To always get the latest update, make sure you follow me on Twitter, CryptoGeek News, and the Discord link is in the description as well. So the latest about the legislation today, Sunday at noon, again they convened in Senate so that they can see what amendments are needed for the new infrastructure bill. Now, there were some major amendments that were set to be put in place in relevance to crypto. I talked about them in my last video, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to that video. But what actually ended up happening is Senate Majority Leader Schumer ended up actually declining and negating all of the amendments and reinstated the bill at its original status. And what ended up happening is it actually ended up going to Senate for a vote. Now, some people were saying that it was voted and accepted and it was going to move to Congress. And that's not true. What actually ended up happening is there's the Portman amendments were actually accepted. Now, Portman amendments are not the best option. They're not very great for crypto, but they're better than no amendments at all. And what they include that isn't included on the normal, on the current bill, is both proof of stake sort of additions and proof of work. So they at least include that. But what's really bad and sucky, I guess you could say, for with both of these is it still doesn't completely accept everybody. So all the engineers, software engineers, and so on within crypto don't really like it, but this is where we're heading. Now, we don't know, nobody knows exactly what the Portman amendments are specifically as of yet, because things have been changing on the Senate floor. You could see if you were watching it live, as I did watch parts of it, there's a lot of discussions between different senators within this about this legislation, and the sections and amendments are being made minute by minute and throughout the entire day. So what exact amendments are in there, we don't know. Could they have been amended or changed so that they can include more positive and pro-crypto language? That's possible. Is it likely? Probably not. But we'll have to see. Tomorrow is going to be a very, very big day in relevance to that. We're going to find out exactly what is in those amendments, the Portman amendments, and find out if 100% everything has passed through, because once it passes, it has to go to Congress, and Congress approves it. Now, it could be argued in Congress, in theory, but really it would create big headache for both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. So I don't think it's going to be touched too much in Congress, but we can, that can always happen. Legally, it has the possibility of happening. But again, tomorrow we'll find out more. It looks like the crypto market is, some people are saying it's reacting to that news and seeing the red that we're seeing today. I don't so much agree with that, just because it's likely correcting. We've had huge gains over the last couple of days. Even you can look at some of, we've seen rises as high as 25%. Bitcoin raised about 10 to 12% throughout the day. So you're obviously going to see a correction, but it's a healthy correction. Could it be because of this news? I think it's a possibility, although I don't think it personally that it's very highly likely, but it is possible. Everything is possible. Tomorrow we will see what's happening. Tomorrow I expect to see something in relevance to the lawsuit, guys, as well. Remember, the last document that was submitted from Ripple to Judge Netburn was July 21st. I know I've been mentioning over and over again, but that's because it's a very important piece of information. And really, if Ripple does not respond in the coming days, it means, that we probably have some sort of resolution for this case. A settlement or something's happening in the background between Ripple and the SEC. And it's something good, I think. It would, to me, signal a settlement. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully we hear some good news. So if we don't see this week, especially, we don't see anything from Ripple, you can, be near, I'm not a financial or legal advisor, but you can be near certain, I think, that we're looking at a settlement probably in the days to come. If we don't even hear of it this week, we could possibly hear of a settlement this week. If you look at my last videos, at one point I thought that a settlement text could have broke down, and I said, they're probably having settlement discussions, but there's some sort of disagreement within the settlement document. And I said, I think that Gary Gensler is probably trying to pressure Ripple by coming out and saying, we have provided clarity and so on. But this could have been a pressure technique that Gary Gensler has used, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not talking to settlement. It may be they've come to some sort of agreement. But really, it's too long for us to not hear a response from Ripple, especially because Ripple's team has been on point, very quick, and very healthy and very strong responses to the SEC. So for them to suddenly come out and say, you know what, we're not going to respond for more than 10 days, more now, 15 days, is unlike them, and it would probably, to me, signal a settlement. Another big thing that could potentially indicate, again, that we're likely heading towards a settlement is a recent lawyer that has submitted a document on behalf of himself, but he was one of the lawyers on Ripple's team that he's left the case, and he's found another opportunity at a different law firm. But if you have a big team and as good of a team as the Ripple's team, they don't let a lawyer just walk away without putting in a replacement. Like some people could, potentially one could argue that he left because they're losing. But if that is the case, and if you're arguing that point, you would probably think to yourself, Ripple would find somebody to replace him. And it's not like Ripple is afraid to spend the money. They would. But for them to just let him go and no one to step in and say, this lawyer's been removed and this one's come in, again, signals that there's less work needed by Ripple's team. Again, it could indicate possibly a settlement in the coming, settlement already potentially close to, a full resolution or potentially, done and having been done for a while and just being finalized in the last stages, or just awaiting on an announcement from Ripple and the SEC to, finalize. So let's see what happens in the next couple of days. I'm not going to claim I know everything, but really I'm trying to analyze what's happening, and that's the only way I see it. And I think we're looking at it probably after this healthy correction, maybe today and I think tomorrow. It looks like we're ready. I paid attention to the charts and I've been looking at the graphs. It looks like we're going to head to back into the green very soon. But what happens with this legislation is going to be critical. But it is looking like even today, later on in the day, we're seeing it pump back up. So that's very good, and it's healthy. It's good. You need those corrections. They're important so that you can maintain, the growth. And even with, when we reach as good of numbers as, $1.95 USD for XRP, we had corrections within there. You can go back and look. We had 10, 15, 20% corrections, and then a jump back up. So it's not something that should surprise or shock anybody. Nobody should, claim that we're in a bull cycle, or just because we've seen a healthy correction of, 5 or whatever, 6 or A7 or even 10%, when we've seen as big of gains as we had seen over the last couple of days. So Bitcoin right now is sitting at about, I think, 43 and a bit, and XRP sitting at about on the edge of the 80, so about 79, getting as low as 78 and a half or so, and then back up to 79. So we're doing quite well, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you're keeping a very close eye, guys. Make sure your notifications are on. As soon as I hear something, I will most definitely let you know. So make sure your notifications are on, and please click that like button. If want to give me your thoughts on the recent legislation, please rate that in the comment section. And again, the like button, guys. I want you to go ham on that. I will most definitely see you guys in the next video, and see you then.